Now that the Fujifilm X-T5 has been released, the price of an X-T4 is already starting to drop. Currently, a brand new X-T4 can be had for $1,549 US from B&H Photo, and there will no doubt be more and more popping up on the used market. And as YouTube is currently being flooded with a ton of videos extolling the greatness of the X-T5 and telling you why you should upgrade, I thought now was the perfect time to make a case for picking up an X-T4 in 2022. So here are 5 reasons why the X-T4 might be the right camera for you in 2022. Although a $150 price difference between the new bodies isn't really enough in my book to consider an X-T4 over an X-T5, a used X-T4 can be had for around $1,300 from mpb.com. And this is a serious value. I paid full price for my X-T4 about a year ago, and I have no intention at this point of selling it or trading it in, even if I get a new Fuji body, since the camera is so awesome in so many ways. Look at it this way. For $1,300, you're gonna get 26 megapixels, IBIS, 2 SD card slots, 4K video, and Fujifilm's amazing film simulations. You're also gonna get a camera that's truly machined to perfection with analog dials in a body that's a little bit larger than the X-T5 and has a fully articulated LCD screen, features that will no doubt appeal to some users more than the smaller footprint and the tilt screen in the new X-T5. So as far as value is concerned, at $1,300, an X-T4 really becomes hard to beat in my book. Probably the biggest complaint lodged against the X-T5 is that Fujifilm designed it without the ability to have a vertical grip. And although I kind of understand the reasoning for this move, they've definitely upset some of their users who have relied on the grip because of the increased battery capacity, as well as the extra balance it gives the camera when you're using it with larger telephoto lenses. So if you're someone who doesn't want to miss out on analog dials, but you also want the option of having a vertical battery grip where you can have a lot more power and a larger camera, the X-T4 might be the perfect camera for you. Number 3 is image quality. Before we talk about image quality, I want to take a second to tell you about Cuts clothing. Cuts reached out to me recently to check out their brand, and at first I was honestly a little taken aback that they would want a little tiny YouTuber like me to give their major clothing brand a try. Not only that, but like many guys, I have trouble finding clothes that fit me right and that look good on me and that are comfortable enough to shoot in while still looking professional. Plus, this particular brand is really cool clothing, and I consider myself a huge nerd. So I wasn't sure if a Star Trek loving camera nerd who plays classical bass and quotes Lord of the Rings to his children could pull off clothes that much cooler people than me, like Peter McKinnon, wear. But the team from Cuts was really, really nice, and they sent me some stuff to try with no strings attached. So I said, okay. And I gotta say that I really like the clothes. Not only do they fit really, really well, but the shirt they sent me is really comfortable, it's made out of high quality materials, and it feels good. I really like the color too. And the pants they sent me are really nice too, and because everything feels real comfortable and movable, it's perfect gear for a photographer like me who's constantly on the move and shuffling lights around my studio or going on location, but also wants to look clean and neat and still have a pro image. So do me a favor, check out Cuts. It's an awesome company, and they even gave me a promo code so that you can get 15% off if you click the link in the description and use my promo code. All right, let's get back to the video. So I just tested the XH2, and the 40 megapixel sensor is pretty amazing, to be sure. The image quality on the X-T4, however, is still superb. And 26 megapixels is way more resolution than needed for most applications. Now, I've used the X-T4 for professional work as well as for family use, and I have no complaints, 0 complaints about the image quality. In fact, the lower resolution actually has some advantages since the file sizes are a lot smaller and easier to work with, and they're going to take up a lot less storage space, which can be an issue when you're shooting hundreds of raw files at 40 megapixels. The color, dynamic range, and overall look of Fujifilm is why I bought the X-T4 in the first place, and why I prefer using my X-T4 many times over my Canon R5 whenever I leave my studio. There's just something magical about those Fuji colors. Number 4, autofocus. All right, so hear me out on this one. If you followed any of my videos at all, you know that the AF in the X-T4 has been my biggest complaint about the camera, but I will say that when you spend some time tweaking the autofocus system and really learning the best way to use it for what you're photographing, it actually works very well in its own right. Now, if you compare it to an R5, of course, it's going to be lacking, but for everyday use and for portraits and things like that, it's really totally fine. And after spending some time getting to know the system, it works really well. Also, if you have newer lenses, the focusing is going to be a lot better than with the older lenses. For example, I used the X-T4 recently with the new Sigma 18-50 lens, and I did a few shoots with it, and I was really impressed with the focusing, which was able to track faces and give me consistently excellent results for portraits as well as for candids. Now, when we YouTubers obsess over autofocus, I think there's a place for that, especially because it is important to see how the companies compare to each other when it comes to basically all these features. But remember that practical use of an item is sometimes a very different matter, and speaking from a practical standpoint, the AF in the X-T4 is still very good for still photography when shooting a variety of subjects. Now, I'm not really talking about video here, but for still subjects. Number 5, lenses for days. All right, now, although this isn't related specifically to the X-T4 itself, it is definitely a consideration for those of you who are thinking of jumping into the Fujifilm system to begin with. I mean, there are a ton of amazing lenses available for Fujifilm cameras, both made by Fuji and by all these different third-party companies. There are many excellent options available in the new and the used market, and just as a camera can be had for a great deal, there are older Fuji lenses which have also been officially replaced, and they've become an incredible value. In the third-party market, I will mention again the Sigma 18-50, which I was really blown away by when I tested it recently. It's super small and it has a constant 2.8 aperture, and it pairs incredibly well with an X-T4, making it the perfect daily traveler in my opinion. Now, I love new gear just as much as the next guy, and as a professional photographer, I'm always looking for tech that will help me improve my workflow and offer me a better user experience and better features, because all of that makes it easier for me to create awesome images for my clients. But I also think it's important to remember that the quote, old gear of today was last year's latest and greatest gear that everyone needed over whatever was available the year before that. And this is important to remember, especially as prices of everything continue to rise. I often tell the story of purchasing a used Canon 5D Mark III, which I purchased at the time the camera was about 5 years old. And it was a little beat up and nothing really to look at. Now, I used this camera to build my headshot business, and not once did any of my clients have complaints about the quality of my work or look at the camera like, why are you using that? I used it until it was about 10 years old, actually. So the point of this video is to give you all food for thought as we are bombarded by new gear this holiday season. So maybe an X-T4 is right for you over the X-T5. I would say check it out. Watch a bunch of videos like this, do your homework, and if you have any questions about the camera for me, definitely let me know in the comments below. I really have been very happy with my X-T4 outside of the little complaints. And just remember that no matter what camera you get, you're gonna find something that you don't necessarily like about it. People are already making videos about certain features on the X-T5 that they wish were different or they didn't like. So just remember that there is no perfect camera, and now's a great opportunity to maybe get something like this X-T4 for an awesome price. And I guarantee you're gonna love the camera if you're doing family and portrait work and stuff like that. All right, everyone, well, as usual, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching it as always. Don't forget to gently press the like button. There is no need to smash it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss my latest video, which will no doubt be coming soon. Here's wishing you a great day. Go out and take some awesome pictures, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.